Hi there, Algebra 2, 4.2 standard form of a quadratic function. To graph quadratic functions written in standard form. Vocab, standard form. A quadratic function is f of x equals a of x to the second plus d of x plus c. That is the form we are going to be working with today. Yesterday we worked with vertex form, or was it, or vector form. Vertex. Alright, so now on this, we're going to look at it first with using a calculator, graphing calculator. What are the vertex, the axis of symmetry, the minimum or maximum value, and the range of y equals 2x plus 8x minus 2. So we have 2x plus 8x minus 2. We have So I'm going to write both of these down so we can talk about it. Alright, now, at that given point, I always use Desmos when I graph, mainly because of the fact that I can give you guys graphing calculators if you really want to use them. The nice part about Desmos is, A, if you have a computer and internet, it'll work. B is the fact that you can color code things a little bit, and it is kind of easy to type in, and all it really does is graphing, so you're not working with everything else. So here's my equation here. Okay. Now the one thing about this is the thing we're really going to talk about today is the fact that this equation is actually this is using variables in for your A, B, C. So, my A value would be this, my B value would be this, and my C value would be this. If you can see, our C value is going to be where our y-intercept is going to be today. And I'm going to mention that now because of the fact that I think that is important. Now, the real questions that were asked in this one were: find the vertex, the axis of symmetry, the max or min value, in the range. Okay, why does it have a domain? Because by now you should know most of your domains are going to be all real numbers right now. So, right now, my vertex is -2, -10. My line of symmetry, or axis, of sim is probably going to be -2. X equals -2. Is there going to be a minimum or a maximum? Well, it should be a minimum. I'm going to go min, and it's going to be at -10. Okay. Now my range is going to be y is greater than or equal to -10. So there's all my answers to that one. Okay, now we go to the top equation then. Okay, now if I do the bottom equation, make sure I get that section right. Okay. Once again, my C is going to be my Y value. Okay? Now, vertex. We got to identify what our vertex is. Okay? Which means my vertex is at 2/3, and my Y1 would be at 7 1/3. Those are my points for my vertex. Now, my axis of symmetry. Axis of sim is going to be the x value in my vertex. So it's going to be 2/3. Okay? Is it a minimum or a maximum? It's going to be a max because it's facing down. Max at 7 1/3. Okay. My range between my y values, y is going to be less than or equal to 7 1/3. So, if you can see this, correlation, correlation. The maximum is going to be less than if it is greater, if it is facing up and it is a minimum, it is going to be greater than or equal. Okay, now to the real part of the lesson today. Okay, quadratic function in standard form. The graph of f of x equals a of x to the second plus b of x plus c. A cannot equal 0 is a parabola. If a is greater than a is greater than 0, the parabola opens upwards. If a is less than, the parabola opens downwards. The axis of symmetry of the line is x equals negative b over 2a. So that's going to tell us where our axis of symmetry is. The x-coordinate of the vertex is going to be the same thing, negative b over 2a. Obviously, our x value going through the vertex is usually our line of symmetry. The y-coordinate of the vertex is the y value of the function for x equals negative b over 2a, or y equals f over parenthesis negative 2 over, or negative b over 2a. What this is really telling you is the fact that you're going to implement that x into your equation, your original one. We talked about this already. The y-intercept is 0, c. Okay, the first one here you can see, that is probably going to be a positive one, so you're probably going to have a maximum. You can probably identify what c is going to be, which is going to be negative, or going to be 0. Yeah, on the first one anyway. Vertex, you can see there. On the other one there, your vertex is up there, your y-intercept is 4, so that's what your c value is going to be, and stuff like that. Okay, we want to graph these equations. Okay, so first I got to put in the time, and I'm going to do both of these on this board before I go to graph. Okay? So, the formula I want to use is x equals negative b over 2a. Okay. Now, with that being said, my y-intercept, looking at this one, is going to be 3. Okay, I'm going to plug this in. I'm going to get negative 2 over, negative 1. No, it's b. Negative 2 over 2 times 1, which gives me negative 2 over 2, which is equal to negative 1. Alright, now I'm going to take that -1 and I'm going to implement it here. I'm going to get -1 squared plus 2 times -1 plus 3. Okay, I'm going to get 1 plus -2 plus 3, which should give me 2. So my vertex is going to be at -1, 2. Vertex. My axis of symmetry is just going to be at -1. We already found that right here. X equals -1. Okay, now let's do the other equation. Okay, so my y-intercept, we'll do it in a different color. Okay, my y-intercept is going to be at -5. Okay, and then I am going to be plug in b, which is going to be 2 over 2 times -2, which is going to be -4. So you get 2 over -4. This will be a negative because b's are negative. So then I'm going to get 1/2. So there's my axis of symmetry. Now I'm going to plug it in over here. -2 parentheses 1/2 squared plus 2 1/2 minus 5. Okay, I'm going to get this. I'm going to get 1/4 times the -2, which is going to give me a -1/2. Okay, plus multiply here. I'm going to get 1 minus 5 minus 5. All right, when I combine these two, I am going to get 4, -4. So -1/2 minus 4 is going to give me -4 1/2. So I would have 1/2 and -4 1/2. Okay. Okay, so I have this now. Okay, I'm going to do the first one first. My vertex would have been at -1 2. -1 2. Okay, and my y-intercept would be at 3. Okay, axis of symmetry would go through here, so we can reflect over here. Boom, just like that, I have that one grabbed. Alright, next one. I have 1/2 -4. 1/2. 1, 2, 3, 4 1/2. Alright, my y-intercept is going to be at -5. I'd have my axis of symmetry here. So I'd have something like this, and it would look like that. That one's not very big, it's tough to kind of see. So, those would be my 2 lines. Okay. Okay, what is the vertex form of this? So, yesterday we were working with vertex form. Which means that we have to get our form in f of x equals a parenthesis x minus h squared plus k. Okay? A is always going to be just like this A. It's the same thing. So, we're going to have f of x equals A, which is -2 parenthesis x minus. Alright, now we need to find our h and k. Okay, so we're going to use what we've been using today. X equals negative 2, or negative b over 2a. Okay, so in this case, negative 10 over 2 times the negative 2, which is negative 10 over negative 4, which then gets me x equals 2.5. Okay, we plug in 2.5 here. Okay, I plug it in here. I'm going to get 6.25. I'm going to get plus 25. I'm going to get plus 7. I get negative 2 here, which is going to give me negative 12.5. Plus 25, plus 7. I should get 19.5. And that's what y should equal. Okay? Now, if you remember from yesterday, this, we just found, is our vertex. With vector form, we used this to figure out. We used it to see how much we shifted. Well, we shifted to the right 2.5. So this would be minus 2.5. This would be plus 19.5. And then we're back into vector form. Okay. We can do it with the last one here. Okay, same rules are going to apply. Okay. F of x. Okay, my a in this case is going to be a negative 1, parenthesis. Okay. Now we have to find this. So we have our x equals negative b over 2a. Alright, at that point, we are going to get minus 4 on the top, and we're going to get a negative 2 times a negative 1. So, we are going to get negative 4 over negative 2, that'd be positive 2, which equals negative 2. Okay? So, now we know what x is, we plug it in here. We get negative 2 squared, which is 4, minus, keep that minus sign, that's going to come down here after I square it. Plus 4, that'd be times negative 2, which is negative 8, minus 5. Okay? And we are going to get a negative 12, 17. Okay, so our vertex is at negative 2, negative 17. Okay, which means this is going to be a plus 2, because it's the opposite. We got to move left 2, so we got to be positive, minus 17, because we're down 17. That is my equation. Now, obviously I can go back and forth between this and this to find my vertex. This time I went and found my vertex to put it into this form and understand my equations. Okay. I think we're going to skip this. I don't quite have the time to go through it. If you have questions on it, go ahead and come to class and ask. There is your homework.